What is up, guys? Just got back off the boat today. Wanted to get a video out to you. Obviously, we had a massive drop for Path of Exile 2 Dawn of the Hunt coming on Friday. Now, we have not got the patch notes yet, but that being said, um, there's two things that I'm going to play for sure. And I know a lot of people are trying to figure out builds. And again, I wouldn't do any of that. If you see videos before patch notes that are saying, oh, you should play this or this or this, don't listen to any of them. They said in this interview, and if you haven't listened, it was like a 4-hour live stream. Luckily, I was driving back from Miami, and so I listened to the entire thing. I watched this about 3 times. I've watched a bunch of people react to it. But basically, the two things that I'm really excited to play, and I'm definitely going to be playing both of them, is one is the Huntress. I just don't know which one I want to start with. So I'm definitely going to be playing the Huntress, or I'm going to be playing the Lich. Those are going to be the two main ones that I play this season. Obviously, once we get all the patch notes, if there's anything else exciting that they've messed with, I know that they've talked about fixing crossbows, et cetera, et cetera. But if there's anything else that's super exciting, I may play that. But I got to tell you, these are the two things that I'm debating on right now. The first one is I'm really debating on playing a bleed Huntress. Okay. And if you look at, we know this is going to be in there, right? So, okay, this is gone. My preview decided to go away, but basically there's a bleed version of the Huntress that is based on physical damage, and then you can go into the Ritualist, which gives you Corrupted Boil. And what that does is basically once it's just like an aura that bleeds enemies once they die, right? It populates bloods on them, and then as little enemies die, it will go higher and higher and higher, and it'll explode, and then you get all these bleeds, right? Which is really cool. The thing is, if you look at the skills, so if you go into the press pack, if you don't know how to find this, go to Path of Exile 2, go to Dawn of the Hunt, and then you're just going to go down to the press kit down at the bottom and download that, and it'll give you a ton of stuff you can look at. Really good stuff in there. But basically, it looks like there's about 4 or 5 different bleed things. There's obviously that weakness, opening a weakness thing as well within the Ritualist. So if I open it up, and let me see if I can find it for you real quick over here, and I will pull it up for you so you can see what I'm talking about. 1 second. I don't know why it closed out on my last one. But basically, so this is the skills, right? So this is what we're looking at. So whirling anything physical damage, remember you can pretty much turn into a bleed. I'm assuming there will be support gems for this, right? But Rake, Blood Hunt, Bloodhound's Mark, which we don't know what any of these things do to the patch notes. And then I would assume either Whirlwind's Lance or winds this sound, like these things sound like they increase attack speed or they buff the ability to bleed, right? So Bloodhound's Mark, Whirlwind Lance. We don't know what some of these do. Wind Serpent's Fury. Again, it sounds like something that would speed attacks up, which remember with bleeds, they don't work with crit, right? And that's just something that's always been a deal. So in order for it to work, it's attack speed, physical damage, and that's basically what you're ramping, right? And so that would be the skill. So you're going to have Whirling Slash, which we already know can do bleeds. You're going to have Rake, which can do really cool bleeds. This will probably be one of your main skills. Rapid Assault, they talk about in this video, being able to do big bleeds, and then you're able to explode those things, right? So obviously we'll have to see what all the skills are, but it sounds like there is going to be a real possibility to have a really cool bleed build, which basically in every ARPG I make, that's one of the things that I really enjoy is trying to create bleed builds. On top of that, remember, Taming the Beast. So I don't know if they've showed it yet. But basically in this Hunter, yeah, so this is the Rapid Assault. So you can see him just bleeding out and dying, right? But they have the ability to basically go in and you can tame beasts as well, which is unbelievable to me. Okay. It just sounds great. It sounds really cool. Here's the ascendancy nodes. So we got Blood Boil, which again and it comes with 20% increased physical damage on the way there. So I would imagine this would probably be your first 2 skill points you would take. And then from here, again, there's a million different things you can go with. You can go with the extra rings. You can go with more life recovery. You can do like the mini headhunter thing. All of these are on the Ritualist. If you go to the Amazon, right, the ascendancy nodes for Amazon, this is where you have the open weakness. Now, again, skill speed may be the play here, right? So That's the only thing is you can really stack evasion, you can stack skill speed. The problem is basically you're going to get 6 points in each one that are going to be great, and then the rest of them, nah. Remember with bleeds, you're not going to be able to use any of this stuff, right? So that's going to be where it gets tricky. Um, However, penetrate, here's the problem with penetrate is you have to go through the critical strike thing, which doesn't really do you a whole lot of good to get to penetrate. And attacks using your weapons have added physical damage equal to 25% of the accuracy of the weapon. Okay, so what you could do is you could also stack your accuracy, which are these nodes, right? Dex stacks accuracy, and then your chance to hit attacks can exceed this, but your crit is 25% chance to hit with attack. So there is a possibility here that this could be really, really good as well. It just kind of depends on which one you want to play. Now, again, I'm probably going to go with the Ritualist. And the main reason is because I think that Blood Boil and the 20% is going to be pretty good. I think that, again, having that Headhunter may be okay. The problem that I can see is that we're probably going to go rings, right? So there's definitely going to be 4 and 6. And then after that, you're stuck with either Life Recovery or you're the Mini Headhunter, right? Which is not going to be useful on bosses. It will probably slow down your gameplay. And again, remember with bleeds, probably one of the cooler things with bleeds is, when you're playing any bleed or dot style build, is what you're really looking for is you can just kind of hack your way and then they just kind of die behind you as you keep running through and clearing. So I obviously don't know how we're going to be doing, single target damage, but it looks like from this, this could be pretty cool as far as having a really cool bleed build. So I'm definitely going to be trying that. The other one is the Lich. The Lich looks awesome. If you guys haven't seen this, let me see if I can fast forward. Yeah, so I'm assuming it's in here. Yeah. Okay, so this is the Lich. And again, this is again, you get tons of curses. You get a really, it's going to be more of a minion style base that you can actually do. There's some really cool things you can do with jewels. There's some really cool things that you can do as far as minions and summoning and things like that with specters now coming in. I just think there's going to be a ton of stuff with minions that are just going to be super fun to play. So again, those are going to be the two things that I'm looking at. If you guys want me to pull up those real quick, let me show you that real quick as well. The Lich, there it is. Lich Ascendancy nodes. So again, we have a ton of stuff here. Increased effect of curses, magnitude of unholy might. So this one's going to be more like, I'm looking forward to more like a chaos damage dot buff type style play. And then trying to find either minions or specters or things that will actually help with that. And so that's kind of going to be kind of the way that I'm going with there. Obviously, I think this will be much better for bossing. Again, I don't know. I'm obviously making that up completely. But hang on one second. Let me see if it shows that again. All right. So again, there's just a lot of things in here that I think are going to be really fun to play with as far as, you've got contagion, you've got different skills that I think will actually help you get that chaos damage out. And then you have your minions hitting everything as well, your specters hitting everything as well. So I think it's just going to be a lot of being able to like go in, dot the boss up, get them, dead, and then just kind of play the dodge game until the boss dies, right? And again, same idea with the bleed build. Is you've got your beast that you can tame, you're going to run in, pile them up with bleeds, and then run out when there's danger, dash back in, do your bleeds, and then just win the game that way. So that's going to be the play style that I'm playing this time around. Again, I'm not one of these really smart people like Palesteron or any of these other guys who are just bananas at making builds, and we do not have patch notes, but this kind of stuff that they're showing from the new ascendancies, that they're showing from all of the like the Huntress class and then the Lich class, those things are probably pretty set in stone. I think we can all agree that those probably aren't going to get nerfed. So I think that there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff that we're going to be able to do as far as creating dot style builds. And with the way that they said that they want to change a lot of the gameplay and nerf a lot of the other, the big things down right now, is I'm sure there'll be broken stuff, but typically when any ARPG releases new classes or new ascendancies, they tend to be on the stronger side, right? And the reason they tend to be on the stronger side is because they want people to go in and play them so they can get more data. So typically it's either really undertuned or really broken, and those tend to be, and it tends to lean towards the more broken side. When you think of Spiritborn release, when you think of, I get that's the most recent one I can think of with D4. But when you think of a lot of these newer classes, anytime that a ARPG releases a new class, typically it tends to be on the more overtuned side so that people enjoy it. They go in there, they play it, they're excited about it. Nobody wants to go in there, be all excited to play something new, and then it's just limp dick, right? Like that typically doesn't happen. So that's why I'm going to play those two classes, honestly, is because I think by the time I get done with one or get one kind of figured out, because again, you got to remember that it's Sunday. These patch notes are going to be massive. They're still not out. Even if we get them tomorrow, that leaves 3 days to sift through every single gem being changed, right? They said in the interview, every single gem is going to be changed or adjusted, uh, plus 100 new skill gems, plus 100 new legendaries. So you can take, there's going to be people who build builds that are probably pretty okay to say, okay, this one will probably be pretty good. But I'm telling you, the coolest part about ARPGs, especially when they're in early access like this, is people don't know, right? And so the really cool thing for me is I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to play around with stuff and I'm going to try to figure it out and I'm going to see what I'm doing on the first character. And then obviously, I think I'm probably going to start with Huntress just because I really want to play a Fizz Bleed evasion style build. I think that's it. Just from listening to the interview, they really like, and they said this directly. Mark said it. They love where evasion's at, which means they're not changing evasion. And evasion, if you played in this recent patch, is really good. So probably going to go more Dex evasion style Huntress to start, and then hopefully by the time I get that character up into the end game, I'm sure some of these blasters and guys who can play just nonstop and figure stuff out and are super smart, super good with math, they'll find the stuff on the Lich that goes, okay, you want these spells with this Spectre or these minions, and you just own the game, blah, 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 right? And I'll probably go play that. But that being said, I really do want to try to figure out if there's a way to make like a really cool chaos, just dot explosion damage build. I love that style of gameplay. I love that kind of undead style. Anything where we're doing poison, chaos, bleeds, anything like that, that's my jam. So I know looking at me, you'd be like, oh, he'd be a big hammer smash guy. No, not at all. Love dot style build. So if you guys have a really cool dot style build, let me know in the comments what you're thinking of playing, or just from some of the information that we've seen, if you think there's going to be specific skills or specific uniques or whatever that you think are just going to be ridiculous, or certain stats that you think should be stacked. But let me know that in the comments below, because when we get to log in on Friday, I'm not going to have a ton of time to play it on Friday, so Saturday will probably be my main day. But that being said, I'm going to be super excited to get in there and play with you guys. This game looks awesome. I will be streaming. The link in the stream is always below. So if you guys want to come hang out with me on launch, awesome. Otherwise, I probably am not going to be streaming a ton this week. I have a ton of work to do. Like I said, I just got back from the boat, so I will be trying to do as much content as I can. But again, this week I am really, really backed up with work. What's up, Tino? And so that's what I'm going to be working on. So hopefully you guys are as excited as I am. Again, I'm going to be trying to play some type of bleed style Huntress, probably the Ritualist, and then the Lich for sure. Rocking those two as my two mains in point two. All right. Let me know what you guys are excited about, what you guys are playing in the comments below. Also, weird thing, 99% of my viewers are not subscribed. Now, I know I had a short that went like crazy viral and had like 500,000 views, but 99% of my viewers are not subs. So if you guys could throw a like in there, throw a sub in there, comment. It literally helps with the algorithm so much. We're closing back in on 8,000 subscribers. We've gained almost 100 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers this month in the last 30 days. So thank you guys so much for that. We hit 500,000 views in the last 28 days, which is awesome. Best month I've ever had in YouTube, and I just started the channel back up in January. So super excited for the growth, super excited that you guys are liking the videos, but please, please, please don't forget that all of those things really help. See ya on Friday.